Vaer is a micro brand that I wanted to review for a while. Over the last few years, they have developed a following and a name for themselves. In today's video, I will do a review of this Vaer G7 GMT and point out all the positives and negatives as I find them. Before we get started, I should mention that this watch was provided by Vaer for the review. Of course, that's not going to affect the review in any way, just thought you should know. Now let's begin, as always, by talking about the specs. This watch has a diameter of 39 millimeters. It's about 48 millimeters from one lug to another. The lug opening is 20 millimeters, and it's only 13.5 millimeters thick, including the domed sapphire crystal. Without the crystal, it's only 11.6 millimeters thickness. The material is stainless steel, both on the bracelet and on the case. The crystal is sapphire, water resistance of 200 meters. The watch is powered by the Sellita SW330-2, and it has a price of about $1,200 US. Okay, here's the thing. At a first glance, yes, this does look like a very strong homage of Rolex GMT Master 2. Some might say it's a bit of a clone. However, I don't think so. I do agree that it's an homage, but it's not a clone. I do happen to own a Rolex GMT Master 2, and if you compare them side by side, the two watches are quite different. First, let's look at the case shape. Vaer has a closer resemblance to Omega Seamaster than a Rolex GMT Master. Just look at the lugs. This watch features turn lugs just like the Omega, as opposed to straight lugs that Rolex has. The case finishes on Vaer are executed really well, high polished finish on top of the lugs with a satin finish on the sides of the case. Nice sharp angles between the transitions of the two finishes. The crown is at the 3 o'clock position, and unlike in Rolex, Vaer does not have crown guards. It's more vintage inspired. The crown is signed with Vaer logo, and it is a screw down crown, helping with that 200 meters of water resistance. At the back of the watch, you can see a transparent screw down case back showing off the movement. Now the watch that I have in my hand, that's a press version of the watch. It has a ETA 2893 movement. However, the retail version of this watch is featured with the Sellita caliber SW330-2, which has 25 joules. It beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour and has a power reserve of about 56 hours. Both the ETA and the Sellita are great movements, and it's kind of exactly the type of movement you would expect in the watch in this price category. I like that Vaer went out of their way to decorate the movement somewhat. Since you have a display case back, might as well decorate the movement, dress it up a little bit, make it more pleasant to look at. The decoration is pretty good for a watch in this price category. Since this is a GMT watch, it has that bi-directional 24-hour GMT style bezel. Now this element, of course, resembles quite a bit Rolex GMT Master 2 because of that Pepsi color scheme. If you're not into the Pepsi color scheme, I think this watch is offered with other bezel versions, like a black bezel that might be more up your alley if you don't want anything too flashy on your wrist. Now the bezel action is okay. It's a bit too springy. I prefer a smoother feeling bezel action, if I'm being honest. This one is just all right. However, there is plenty of grip on this bezel, and the coin edge makes it easy to grab. At first, when I just received this watch, I thought that the bezel was misaligned, but it's not. It just looks that way from certain angles because of the crazy dome on this sapphire crystal. Just look at the distortion angles that you get from this crystal. There is some air coating on the sapphire. However, because of the crazy dome, I would like to see a few more layers of AR coating. Now, of course, I'm not expecting Breitling levels of AR, but a few more coats would go a long way. I love the look of this dial. The combination of applied indexes and sword style hands looks very sharp. Minimal writing, Vaer logo by the 12, 200 meters and automatic printed closer to 6, and that's pretty much it. The dial is executed with a matte finish. Now the color of this dial is black, however, with certain lights, because of the blue hue of AR coating, it could look almost dark blue. Kind of a cool effect that I really like. The indexes and the set of hands are loomed. Here's a loom shot for your reference. I think the loom on the indexes looks great. However, the set of hands could use a few more layers of loom. As you can see right now, they're a little bit more faint as opposed to the loom on the indexes. Now this watch came with 2 different strap and 1 bracelet option. Here it is on the rubber strap. I like how the rubber strap complements this watch. It makes the watch seem a little bit more sporty, almost like a diver. And on the wrist, it's quite comfortable. The strap is nice and soft, doesn't have any awkward angles. Now, here's the watch on a leather strap. Again, now the look of the watch is almost transformed. It looks a little bit more dressed up, a little bit more grown up. And once again, it's a pretty good quality leather strap, no awkward angles, fairly soft to the touch. Now, my favorite way to wear this watch would be on a Jubilee style bracelet. I'm a sucker for a good Jubilee, and this one is a good one. The thing about Jubilee bracelets, a lot of times they can feel a little bit tiny and hollow. Not the case here. The bracelet feels solid enough. It has that engineered scissor clasp with a clasp guard and 2 buttons for the release. The links are held together with screws, which is nice. It's not push-pull style system, and you get 4 micro adjustments. Now, my favorite part of this watch is the quick release mechanism on the bracelet. It makes it so much easier to quickly swap this Jubilee bracelet for the leather strap or for the included rubber strap. And I should mention that both the rubber strap and the leather strap also have quick release systems. So it takes literally seconds to swap the two. Really nice feature, and I wish more watch companies would include it in their watches. I'm starting to see more and more do it, but still not enough. So I appreciate Vaer making the effort of creating this system and including it in their watch. Besides the solid look of the bracelet, it also makes the watch feel quite comfortably on my wrist. Here it is on my 7.5 inches wrist. I think that 39 case diameter looks great, although this watch does wear a little bit larger. So I think it wears somewhere between 40 and 41 millimeters. I think because of the smaller font on the bezel, which kind of creates an illusion of a bigger bezel and thus making the watch appear larger on the wrist. Now, it's not overwhelming or anything, but just be expecting a little bit of a larger wear than a typical 39. The thickness of the watch is great. 13.5 millimeters should slit under the cuff of pretty much any shirt. And since it's a GMT style watch, you would wear it casually / as your travel companion. So I think they kind of nailed the look and the feel of the watch on the wrist. Overall, I like this GMT. Is it perfect? No. At $1,200, I think it's an attractive value proposition, but if it were under $1,000, it would be a killer. But what do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this Vaer GMT. Do you like it? Do you not like it? What do you like about it? Leave your comments in the comment section below. I always enjoy reading them. Also give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss any more content in the future. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.